starting rotation, there's no breaks. There's no breaks in that bullpen.
The Astros, look, I don't know how many more times we can say it. The classic
There will be Charlie
League, they're
Moore.
an absolute juggernaut. They've proven that time and again, once again here in 2022. But they're unbeaten this postseason.
I mean, to watch him play the game right now, it's a lot of fun.
Bang, everybody, as you step up in the party and we doing, are you ready or not? Flying like a rocket, ain't nobody else to stop it. How we moving, are you ready or not? Watch the way we kill him, and you know we gonna get him and hit him. Now, are you ready or not? Tell me if you're ready or not. Show me if you're really ready or not.
When you're doing all these storylines, really cool stuff, 2 hot clubs, it's gonna be awesome.
And welcome to this special World Series preview edition of MLB Tonight, presented by Evan Williams Bourbon. Why every time do I see somebody painting a field do I think of that old commercial where the guy was trying to paint the Kansas City Chiefs logo and he wrote chefs? I don't think they're going to make that kind of mistake today.
I hope not.
Houston, Phillies and Astros getting ready for Game 1 Friday on Fox. Great googly moogly. Yeah, World Series logo is down, so it's official, I guess. Now that the logo is on the field, it's official. Welcome inside
Everybody,
Studio 3 with Jake Peavy, Carlos Pena, Matt Vasgersian. I want to ask you guys this because I forget. You played in the 08 World Series. Jake, you played in World Series, back-to-back World Series in 12 and 13. How many days off did you have between winning the pennant and starting the series?
We didn't have many. It was almost immediate because we won 7 games versus the Red Sox, and it was exhausting. So, talking about advantage or disadvantage, for us, I thought it was a disadvantage. It took everything out of us, in a sense.
Yeah. How about you, Jake? Did you have a lot of time?
I think I didn't have this many days off at either time, and I think this is disadvantage hitter. These hitters don't like to sit. You're facing Justin Verlander, Wheelers, Nolas, incredible top-notch pitching. When you don't have that timing day to day, look for the hitters to start slow.
We have a lot to get into today. We'll talk lineups, we'll talk matchups, and we'll talk pitching assignments as well. And on that topic, Phillies manager Rob Thompson met the media earlier today.
First 2 games, we'll go Nola, Wheeler, just to give Wheels an extra day. He's going to be fine for Game 2. The line drive off his leg factored in, and where we were in their lineup factored in. There was a lot of factors. I think the numbers speak to the fact that both him and Nola on an extra day's rest, their numbers are a lot better. And anytime we can give those guys an extra day, we'd do it. I think that's the way to pitch anyway, is to go out and you're going to see the top of the lineup in the first 2 innings, and you better get those guys out or we're going to be in a hole. So you better go get it. They're arguably our 2 best pitchers, and it's just happened to work out that we've been able to have some time off or have enough time between their starts that they can go 1 and 2 in each series. So it's worked out, and it's for us, it's a huge advantage because now in a 7-game series, you get them twice, both of them twice. So for the potential 7 games, you'd have your 2 best guys. So it's a big advantage. They've got some even split guys. They've got some reverse split guys coming out of their bullpen. So having a lefty, I don't think it really concerns them too much. But I still like our matchups. I mean, I like our hitters, and I think our lefties are swinging the bat pretty good. And so, I'll take my chances. We don't have many guys that have played in the World Series, but we didn't have many guys that had played in the playoffs to begin with. So, I mean, and the leadership that's in here, Schwarber's been there before. He talks a lot to the club about, being in this situation. I think Harp talks a lot to the club about being in this situation. Talking through it's good, but, you have to go out there and you have to perform, you have to live it. And our guys have done a really good job of it so far.
Boy, any combination of the Quinella box in games 1 and 2 is pretty good for the Phillies, whether it's Nola Wheeler or Wheeler Nola. They are starting their longest tenured member of the roster, Aaron Nola, in game 1. These are the postseason numbers. Most recently struggled back on October 19th. Lost game 2 of the NLCS to the Padres after he was handed a 4-0 lead. They love Nola, and for very good reason. And I guess there's a recent template for this. It was the clinch game, the Phillies needed to beat the Astros to clinch a wild card spot, and it was Nola against Houston. Could we learn anything from that in entirely different circumstances?
Well, you know, I think this start, 6 and 2 innings, 2 hits versus the Astros is a reason that he's starting game 1. If he went out and struggled, and I'm just going to show you, we've been asked so much about game plan, we're going to rip off every pitch that he made. You know, and he starts the game without Altuve going down and away, but you're going to see from the start, he's really sharp. There's a little cutter after 2 fastballs, a breaking ball, and we go right back to this fastball. Misses in, but throws it up here at the top of the zone, and we're done with Altuve. Only showed him a few breaking balls. Pena, I thought this was interesting. Breaking ball, you swing and look bad, I'm going to give it to you again. What do you do when you look bad on 2? Throw another one. And that's first 3 at-bats. A little bit different there. Yordan Alvarez, I thought this was a good at-bat. Falls behind 2-0. Gets back in the count with a breaking ball. Yordan still takes a good swing, but you better get back on that fastball in. 2 in a row, and there's Yordan's first at-bat. He's rolling through this lineup. Bregman's about their hottest guy. He's careful first pitch. Throws him a good pitch to hit, and almost sneaks through there, but a great play. Boehm. Bregman, we'll see you next time around. Kyle Tucker, aggressive. You get breaking ball, and then you get your fastball in to change up away. Just pitching 101 right there, Carlos. 3 pitches or less. Yep. Quality at bat, and now you're back to Gurriel. Fastball away. You better get on that fastball, and that was just enough to get by him and beat him a little bit there. Again, this fastball at the top of the zone. Little cutter, but back to the fastball. He's just really, really aggressive this first time through the lineup with the fastball. Now, this is a tune-up game for the Houston Astros. They're going to give some better concentration and better at-bats, and they're going to have to. That was one time through the lineup, y'all, and here's Altuve the second time around. Back in the count, 1-1. We're going back in with the fastball. It's just so fun for me to watch the in-and-out cutter away there, up to the top of the zone, sit down. Nola's dealing. Pena, you saw all breaking balls. You thought you were getting one there. There's fastball, fastball, fastball this time around.
That's amazing. You know, his curveball usage is up in the month of October. You're showing us a lot of heaters here. Was he that fastball heavy against them?
Look, this is every pitch. Yeah, I wanted you guys to see the very first time through the lineup and back around to the top 3. Aaron Nola came out in and out with that fastball. One changeup, just a few cutters, a few curveballs. I've been talking about it all season long. The way I know to attack being a starter is to go out there and get guys on number 1, then work off of it. The only time you saw that not happen was Pena, and he looked so bad on the first breaking ball, and you're going, oh, you're looking for fastball, trying to do damage. I'm going to give you 2 more, but then I'm going to put the fastball right back in your head next at bat. So the fun thing is to watch the back and forth, the cat and mouse game. And we talk about game plan. It is ever changing. When one pitch is thrown, see if you as a fan at home can read the swing and what would you throw next. That's pitching and hitting.
It looked like not only was it a lot of fastballs, it was a lot of fastballs away. And do you guess that it's going to be a completely different pitch mix now that it's game 1 of the World Series as opposed to the end of the regular season?
Well, this is what I'm hoping for Nola, right? You know, for his sake, he's going to have to do what you're talking about, pitch off the fastball. He has to pitch inside.
That's right.
If he stays away, he might get himself in trouble. And this is what I want to show you, because that's the combination that gets him hurt, right? Look, this sinker away, you talk about there's a lot of movement, start out in the other batter's box, but then comes back. It gets hit. And this is where he got in trouble because there's nothing he can hide off the fastball away. So I love what you said about the fact that he has to pitch inside in order to be able to read the hitter, see what's up. Look at this at bat really quick. That sinker away right there, that one again. He was heavy with that one, way more so than the Astros start. Then he throws his curveball, it gets hit. Why? I'm going to put one on top of the other, right? This slider or breaking pitch, it pops above the line of the previous fastball. What do we as hitters recognize easy or easier is change of plane.
That's right.
So you saw on the rip that you showed us how many fastballs were in to lefties, yes, but to righties.
Yep, that's right.
It just makes it virtually impossible, Matty, to be able to hit both. You got to pick one or the other because they had of each other.
You know, that's an interesting point you make, and I'll take you back to your own career before the Cy Young Award, before it clicked for you. And I remember you saying at one point, what clicked for you to get to that level was throwing your changeup to both right and left-handed batters. Previously not a comfortable thing for you. Is that going to be important for Aaron Nola to keep the big power guys off his heater?
It is. There's no doubt. When you can throw a changeup off your fastball to right or left-handed batters, there's just no defense against a changeup. Carlos talks about what they can and can't see. If you execute a changeup or split-finger fastball, and Nola can do that, you saw the one good one to Tucker, he will throw it. But again, I'm with Carlos, and I think this is going to come down. You just saw every pitch that Nola threw versus the Astros the last time they lost the game. I promise you this, he's going to come out Friday night and try to do a whole lot more of that, and that's that fastball in as opposed to away in San Diego start where things got away from him.
You know what really true happens is this, Matty. I mean, you see if I could show the viewer at home, it's like you see the sinker that goes this way, right? It goes away and then comes back in, but the curveball or slider goes that way. So there's no deception on this one. I see it immediately with the change of plane. But when he throws it in, now, yes, they look the same up until halfway. One goes this way and the other one breaks your back.
Well, we're going to have a chance to break him down, and everybody's going to be micro-scrutinizing every little movement as soon as he takes the ball in the bottom half of the first. But the guy that's at the plate in the bottom of the first on Friday is going to be scrutinized even more. Jose Altuve, well-documented struggles during the postseason, the kind of struggles that you wouldn't ever guess a three-time batting champ would be capable of when the lights are brightest. Yes, he had a pretty good Game 4 against the Yankees and seemed to get it back together. But what are you looking at when you see Jose Altuve right now, Carlos?
Well, I mean, I noticed that he's really far off the play. The first thing we got to talk about is the fact that it doesn't matter. Like, it's over. He's in the World Series. Whatever you did, throw it out the window. It has no weight. Now it's just let's get right. But I wanted to show you the observation I made. I mean, this is in Seattle. I mean, there's no way he can reach this pitch. It's way outside. He's so far off the plate that he cannot even reach it physically. Like, it's just too much. He's diving across the plate, and now that makes him also trying to hit around his front side late on the fastball that's elevated and inside. It's almost impossible to hit because he has to hit around that front side. And then it throws everything off because you're rushing, you know you're late. Timing is everything in hitting. Let me show you how far off the plate he is and how late he is, right? This is how far off the plate he is. He's going to dive across the plate to try to reach this pitch. No shot. You see how far he ran out of bat, right? Now, he's going to continue to dive that way because he's far off the plate, and then this fastball in and elevated, he's late on. How late is he? I know this fastball is up there, but I want to show you visually how late it is. That's the trajectory of the pitch. That's way out, by the way. But I want to show you when he finally gets to the trajectory of the pitch, that baseball is in the catcher's mitt. Yeah. That's how late. That's 6 foot late. Get a little bit closer to the plate. This is what I suggest. And now you have your energy going forward towards the pitcher, and you're forced to be like, hey, man, I have to get it going earlier instead of feeling like you have more time and get later and later and later and later, more around your front side, What happened? It's over. Now it's time to make the adjustment and contribute to your ball club.
Is that a realistic thing to expect from a guy who's been in the same spot all year long at the World Series? He's going to come out looking different in terms of his setup?
It might be just a couple inches, though.
Right. I think guys are always tinkering, and you're talking about a professional of all professionals, and this guy's got as much postseason success as almost anyone we've ever seen play. I think he can come out and get it turned around, but it's just watching that video, and I know you've called a lot of games and seen this guy. Him being late on the fastball is something that you're not used to seeing. Yeah, and so he is certainly scuffling right now. And again, it's just starting a little bit earlier and whatever. Carlos is just saying if he gets closer to that plate, he's going to be able to start a little bit earlier and focus some energy on just getting that foot down in the right way.
And you know what? Something I love what Jay was talking about, reading hitters. Like, you know, if I'm reading Altuve, it's like, wow, he's really off the plate. I can attack him this way, and he's diving across. I can two-seam him inside as well, and he's late. Reading hitters is so important for pitchers, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because we were talking about in the production meeting, that hey, that's as a hitter. I can teach you about pitching, and as a pitcher, you can teach me about hitting.
Oh, every one of those Houston hitters, you know, are that rip we just saw, that's on repeat in the Houston lineup.
Believe it.
Yep. Every one of those guys are digging so deep into that information, looking for any advantage. Mm-hmm. And the advantage comes when both sides have those scouting reports. The advantage comes of the guy in-game adjustments. who's adjusting first, who's going, okay, they're trying to do this, in that cat and mouse game that we saw with Bryce Harper, that we saw in so many of these big moments. That's what wins, and that's what's fun for us to see.
Speaking of Bryce Harper, when we come back, we'll document the hottest player in the postseason. It's a good thing when the best player on your roster is also the hottest. That describes Harper's role with the Phils. We'll break him down next on MLB Tonight.
MLB Tonight is presented by Evan Williams 1783 Small Batch. When you
in Puerto Rico, and I would like to keep working with the youth, which it means a lot to me.
History has been written, and the numbers are in the books. Now, who are the best of the best? Baseball's award season starts right here on MLB Network. Who will win? Find out exclusively beginning November 7th.
Covering the postseason? Serious business.
I'm clapping my arms.
This is the battle for October. We're turning it up a notch.
I got donuts. This is the postseason. We are in it to win it.
Coming at you.
StatCast is powered by Google Cloud, the official cloud technology of MLB.
Creeping up on another postseason record, StatCast powered by Google Cloud, and it's barrels in a single postseason. It's a graphic, or a stat rather, that's only been around since 2015. Randy Arozarena in 2020 had 12 barrels. That's optimum contact on the bat. Bryce Harper with 10 and with an opportunity to reset a new postseason record. He's been amazing this postseason. In 46 plate appearances, is an OPS of 1350 good? He is absolutely the hottest guy out there right now. Freddie Freeman is the only, I guess, quote-unquote, superstar talent with numbers even remotely comparable, and he's done it in far fewer at-bats. Harper has been great, and Carlos, even if you remove that magical moment, the homer that beat the Padres in Game 5, his numbers are such that it more than justifies the commitment and the deal he signed to go to Philly. It's all working out for him.
Indeed, and this is exactly what he wanted, all right? He went to Philly for that, to become a champion.
That's right.
And things maybe did not look, up for him the first couple seasons, this and that, but you can 100% bet that this deal has worked out in favor of the Phillies, and certainly in favor of what he was envisioning. What a great approach to the play. We were talking about that, Jake. This is a man that takes the fight to the dog. He's not sitting there playing percentages, just waiting stuff around. He reads what the pitcher's doing, sits on pitches, picks a lane,
absolutely,
and dominates it.
Yeah, really smart baseball player. Along with incredibly talented. But this is just a great story for baseball. Bryce Harper, we've talked how many times we want to see Bryce and Mike Trout and our superstars in the playoffs. It reminds me of 2014, Pablo Sandoval, the most hits in postseason history. Winning a World Series takes extraordinary talents from your big guys. Matt Bum, same year. David Ortiz, 2013. I don't know if he made an out in the World Series. I don't have the numbers, but go look at him. It was incredible. Again, when these superstars are expected to deliver and deliver, there's just something in that. There's, there's all the rest of the lineups are kind of this underdog role. Yes, contribute, do this, but the weight of the world has seemingly been on Bryce's back. And since St. Louis hitting that homer coming out of a September funk, he hasn't looked back, and it's just been as fun to watch as
and the Phillies have such a power component on both sides of the scorecard. Harper, Schwarber and company hitting for power. And on the other side, you've got power starters like Wheeler and Nola. And in the bullpen, let's make a call to the bullpen, as a matter of fact, presented by Mitel. There are power arms out there. Jose Alvarado's one, and this guy is another, Sir Anthony Dominguez, who's been great. He went out there in the sloppy track in Game 5, uncorked 3 wild pitches, and then Harper picked him up. What kind of an X factor, Carlos, is Sir Anthony Dominguez for the Phils?
I think he is it. I mean, he could really change the outcome of the entire series. And maybe they're not as deep, right, as the
I think that's why he's so important.
Because they're pivotal. It's almost as if we're talking about having the weight of, on your shoulders. Well, yes, he is carrying precisely feeling that, but he can handle it. He has shown that here as of late. And the stuff is there. The tools are there. Everything that he needs is there to dominate.
Yeah, Rob Thompson really found his own with managing this bullpen, and he deserves all kind of credit. But Anthony Sir Anthony Dominguez. Game 2 versus St. Louis came in. Goldschmidt, Arenado sit down. Game 1 in Atlanta, 2 innings, 3 strikeouts. Huge to get that game under the belt. Pitched also again in that Atlanta series. Games 1, 3, and 5 in San Diego. Multiple innings when needed. He's just been the absolute anchor of that bullpen all year long. Some good arms around him, but he's critical if Philadelphia wins the series.
There's so many comparisons, I think, Jake, between the 2019 Nationals and these Phillies.
I agree.
One of them is that the 19 Nationals, historically bad bullpen before they straightened it out at the right time.
That's right. Yeah.
And the Phillies have done the same thing. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch the bullpens match up, too. Going to take another break. When we return, you talked about the panda going nuts. You know, the guy on the other end of some of that, Justin Verlander, is probably the best pitcher on the planet to have never won a World Series game. We'll document that next.
Call to the Bullpen is powered by Mitel, the official business technology and communications partner of MLB.
Tested under pressure. Innovation driven. Powered for more. This is why Williams Racing trusts Duracell batteries with power boost ingredients.
It all starts Friday. Game 1 on Fox just after 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Game 1 of the 2022 Fall Classic. Stars on both sides, on the hitting ranks and certainly in the starting rotations. One of the biggest stars, believe it or not, has never won a World Series game. Justin Verlander began his World Series career in just his second year as a major leaguer at the age of 23. And in Game 1 of the 06 Fall Classic against the Cardinals, he was handed the loss, went 5 innings, gave up 6 earned on 2 homers, and the Cardinals were a runaway train. Verlander had another crack at him that year in Game 5, pitched better this time around, but a costly error would in part lead to his demise, and the Tigers would lose the series. 6 years later, JV comes back in 2012, Game 1, and it was another red-hot opponent. The Tigers had some considerable time off before this series began. In Game 1, Verlander went only 4 innings, gave up 5 earned, couple of homers, and was handed the loss as the Tigers were handed a sweep by the Giants. 5 years later, 2017, Verlander got the ball in Game 2 at Dodger Stadium, pitched well, went 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, both of them homers. Verlander got a no decision as the Astros would come back to win Game 2. And just a few games later, he has a chance to ice down the World Series in Game 6. He went 6 innings, gave up only 2 earned runs on 3 hits, but would end up with the loss. The series went to a Game 7, and we all know what happened from there. So fast forward to 2019, Verlander was the Game 2 starter for Houston, gave up 4 earned over 6 innings, and was handed the loss. Kurt Suzuki got him for a homer, Anthony Rendon a wall ball, and that's how that one unraveled. So later on that series, Verlander has a chance to win it in Game 6. He went 5 innings, didn't pitch poorly, gave up 3 earned runs on 5 hits, but was handed the loss. The Astros lost Games 6 and 7, and the Astros lose the series, of course. Verlander's postseason record, an unlikely 0-6 in 7 World Series starts. Hard to imagine a guy this good, a for sure first ballot Hall of Famer who's had multiple opportunities at a World Series W, has not had that filled up in the column yet. Some of it on him, the error, the wonky first World Series start. Some of it was circumstance. Welcome back inside with a couple of guys that know what it takes to play in a World Series. Carlos Pena, Jake Peavy, Matt Vasgersian. I mean, what do we expect from Verlander with another crack at a World Series win?
Well, he pitched well enough in some of those games to win, but I'm not so sure what we're going to see. We talk about history, and the day after that NOLA start, Verlander went out, was really good versus a little bit of a hungover Phillies team because they just clinched and got in, had some fun. He come out of that start, his first one against Seattle, didn't go so well. 10 hits in 4 innings. It was far from the Justin Verlander that we saw have a 1.75. He bounced back beautifully versus the Yankees, but what does that mean? The Yankees kind of struggled versus everybody. He was much better. I think Justin Verlander is going to have a good start. I think he's going to have a really good start because Nola and these Phillies, they're coming, and they provide some big-time problems.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the tools are there. right? We know that this guy's a big-time pitcher. Now, when we look at the track record of the World Series, we may be tempted to say he has trouble in the World Series. Is that even possible? Are we just looking at a small sample of size here? Yes, we are. So I'm expecting a good quality start. I know the fact